Hello and welcome to another video of Vivek Learns. So in the last video we had solved some of the problems of PepCoding Level 1 patterns. We had solved 3 problems specifically. So now let's continue solving the fourth one. So in this fourth problem we have to print a pattern which is something like this, right? So let me have it here in my notepad first. Let me create a class, right, with the name pattern 4. So this is the pattern that we want. So we'll solve it using two approaches, the matrix one and the if like the conditional approach also. So we have I is equals to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 here, right? Sorry, n is equals to 5 here. And when I is equals to 0, then we have to print 4 stars, right? 5 stars, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When I is equals to 1, we have to print yep, we have to print one space and then 4 stars, and then the stars go on decreasing, right? And the spaces go on increasing. So to solve it with the matrix and condition approach, let's try to find what these diagonal values are, right? So this is 0 comma 0, this is 1 comma 1 comma 1, right? This is 0 1 2 2 comma 2, this is 3 comma 3, this is 4 comma 4. So the values of I and j are same here, right? And let's consider this star. So what is the value of I? I is 4 here and I is 0 here and j is 4, right? So let's consider this value, this star now. So the value of I is 0, 1. The value of I is 1 and j is 0, 3, 3, 1 comma 3, right? So the trait that we can see in these patterns is I is always less than j or I is equals to j for all the stars that are going to be printed. So let us try to do that approach first. Like we won't follow the condition only approach, we'll follow the star approach. I is less than or equal to j, right? If I is less than or equal to j, then we print star, otherwise we print space. Let me run this. Yep, and we get the desired output. Now let's try to solve it using the condition only approach, right? We have to see the pattern and we have to find a condition. So how will we do it? So what we can see is that when I is equals to 0, then we print 5 stars. When I is equals to 4, then we print I is equals to 1, then we print 4. When I is equals to 2, when we print 3. So it is something like n minus I, right? We have to print n minus r stars, right? And after that we also have to print spaces. So let's write the logic to print stars first. So when I is equals to 0, I is n minus I. So what it will do, it will print stars. We have to print stars, not spaces. So this will print 5 stars, and we don't have to print. Okay, so we'll have to first write the logic to print spaces, right? Yep. So when I is equals to 0, then we don't have to print any stars, right? So when j is equals to 0 and I is equals to 0, then no space will be printed. For the first row, no space will be printed, right? When I is equals to 1, so from that value, the spaces will be printed, right? Okay, so yeah, this will probably work. Let's try to run it. Hmm, I ran it right. Yep, and we get the desired output. So let's try to solve the next pattern that we have, the pattern 5. So we have to print this pattern, and the additional condition that we are given is n is odd. So we have to print this pattern. So this pattern can be divided into two parts, right? So this is for n is equals to 5. Then we have 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the fourth one, and this is the fifth, right? We have 5 rows. So what we can do is that we can divide n by 2. N by 2 is nothing but 5 by 2 is, which is 4. No, my bad. 5 by 2, which is 2, almost 2.5. But as both of them are integers, we get 2. So 0, 1, 2 will print this pattern here, right? So what we can see is for I is equals to 0, we print 1 star, right? For I is equals to 1, we print 3 stars. For I is equals to 2, we print 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 stars, right? So there is some kind of connection here between I and the stars, right? So if we see these, it's something like 2 into I plus 1, right? So for I is equals to 0, it is 2 into 0 plus 1, which is 1. For I is equals to 1, it is 2 into 1, which is 2 plus 1, which is 3, right? So let's try to print this upper portion first and try to debug, try to have this lower portion again, right? First. So let me create a class again called pattern 5. Mm, And I cannot think of solving this problem using the matrix and condition approach, so that is why I will use only the condition only approach that we have here, right? So yeah, we also have to print the stars here, right? So for I is equals to 0, we have to print 1, 2, 3, 1, 2 stars, 2. My bad, 2 star, 2 spaces. For I is equals to 1, we have to print one space, right? For I is equals to 2, we have to print 0 spaces. Okay, so the relation is something like 2 minus I minus 2, I minus n minus I, right? N minus I, n by 2, of course, minus I. So 2 minus 0 is 2. So we'll print 2 stars first. 2 minus 1 is 1. So we'll print one space for the second and so on. Uh, First we'll write the logic for printing the spaces, right? J is less than mm, first let's capture this int. Let's have this in num by 2, right? Let's not capture it. Let's directly have this value here, num by 2. Okay. So what is the condition that we have? Num by 2 minus I, right? That is for the spaces. So when I is equals to 0 and j is equals to 0, we'll print 1, 0, 1 and 0 and 1 star, right? Yep, 0 and 1, right? We'll print two spaces, right? Yep, this logic will work. And let's see the logic for this. Like we want to print 2 into I times number of stars, right? So yeah, hopefully this prints the first half of the pattern that we want, right? Let's see. Let's see for 5. Yeah, but it did print only the first two ones, right? We want the third one also. Okay, for I is okay. So we'll have to give the equals condition here to achieve that. So let's try by giving input 5 and we get the first pyramid, right? And now we have to print the second one. Let me have this printed for some bigger values, right? Yeah. So the second part that we want is mm, when I is equals to 1, we want to print 3 stars, and when I is equals to 2, when I is equals to 0, we want 3 stars, and then I is equals to 1, we want 1. So I can't find any relationship for these stars. So let's try to print it using the old school conditions approach, right? So we'll have to print two spaces here. Like this is a typical space problem, right? So let's try to print the spaces first. So how will we print the spaces? We'll have the condition like I is mm, j is less than I, right? So for I is equals to 0, we'll have to j is less than equal to I. For I is equals to 0, we'll print one space. And j is equals to 0, we'll print one space for yeah, this condition will work. And then we have to print this, right? So what do we have the condition? We have num minus 2, num by 2 as 2, right? N by 2 as 2 or num by 2, whatever you want to call. So for this we have the condition as num by 2 minus 1, right? Minus I, 2 minus 1. So 2 minus 0. So we'll print 0 and 1 stars. Then 2 minus 1, which is 1. So it will print only 0 stars. Okay. So hopefully this part works and we get this portion that we have. So let's try to code that first. So we got the first part, the for loop, then let's target the second one, and the second one will have I less than num by 2 because we have already printed it till here and we want to print the other half excluding this one, right? We don't have to print this one, this part again. So the first approach that we saw was I is less than equal to. Then we have to print space. And then the other part for printing is num by 2 minus I. Num by 2 minus I. Yeah. So I think this will hopefully print this part. It will not print this star, but it will print this pattern at least. Let's try to see that. Let's try it for 7. Yes. And now what we want to do is that we want to have the other part as well. So let's try to focus on that. So how will we do that? So we have to print 2 stars here, then 1 and then 0. So we had this condition num by 2 minus I. So what we can do is that we can have num by 2 minus I minus 1 condition, right? So num by 2 is 2 minus 1, 2 minus 0, 2, sorry, num by 2, right? Let's consider the num as 7. 7 by 2 is 3. 3 minus 0, 3. 3 minus 0 is 3. Minus 1, which is 3 minus 1 is 2. So it will print 0 and 1. So it should print 2 stars, then 1, and then no star, right? So I think this condition will work. Let's try to have this loop again. Two minus I minus 1. Yep. Let's try to have it for a greater number, like 9. Yep. Yep. So this is the next coding problem that we have, and we'll try to solve this in the next video. So yeah, see you in the next one. Thank you.